American Eagle has seen a recent hike, about 15% increase in their stock because of their Sydney Sweeney ad campaign.
Sweeney American Eagle jean ad has gotten everybody talking. Let's talk about it. Hey, beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome back to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. Okay, so today's video we want to talk about the American Eagle jean advert that has gotten everybody talking. And some people are saying this is eugenics. People are coming out with their own thoughts about this, and I really love this conversation that is coming. So apparently there's this ad of the actress Sydney Sweeney, and she was doing the ad for the American Eagle jeans. And if you know the American Eagle jeans, they support the make American great again ideology, so you know where they stand. So in this ad there was a play word of the word jeans, as in jeans and jeans. And you could clearly see in the ad they keep celebrating and talking about how Sydney Sweeney had good genes in quote. And this has struck the conversation of eugenics and racism and low-key sexualization of women. But I need you guys to watch this video today because it was very interesting, because everybody's take and everywhere everybody was seeing this art form was coming from a different point of view, and but it was very, very educative. So let's go check a clip for let's go check this clip from this ad, and then people's reaction to it, and then we'll come back and talk more.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
You see what I did there, right? Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens. Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
American Eagle has seen a recent hike, about 15% increase in their stock because of their Sydney Sweeney ad campaign. So on July 23rd, they released their Sydney Sweeney ad campaign, in which it quotes, "Sydney Sweeney has great genes." Now, originally, it was supposed to be Sydney Sweeney has great genes, Genes, but they switched it to Sydney Sweeney has great American Eagle, Jeans, which is a double entendre on the word jeans because it has two different meanings, but this one literally can go either way, and they know that. And utilizing the wordplay on jeans also falls into the pool of eugenics, and that's where the problem comes in. Before American Eagle dropped the Sydney Sweeney ad campaign, they lost about $68 million in their first quarter due to product misses, campaign misses, and also they called it a cold spring, which ultimately led to a huge loss for the company. So essentially, they were on the brink of bankruptcy. But because of the Sydney Sweeney ad campaign, they've experienced a 15% increase in their stocks. Now, some investors are calling this a meme stock increase, being that it's being talked about online so much. That could have ultimately caused that 15% increase in their stock. I mean, what it ultimately seems to me is that American Eagle has chosen a side, and they decided that they are going to be the representation for MAGA. They want to be that jean clothing brand that MAGA thinks of. They want to be the representation when it comes to whenever somebody thinks of country living and they're a proud American of the United States and they are what makes America great again. They want the first thought to come to mind when it comes to clothing brand to be American Eagle. So at this point, just change your name to American MAGA. That would make a lot more sense.
You know, everybody is talking about this new Sydney Sweeney advert and the eugenics of it all. But besides that, there is one part about it that really bothers me that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about, and it is specifically that I think this advert was meant to copy this.
The secret of life lies hidden in the genetic code. Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations. Occasionally, certain conditions produce a structural change in the gene, which will bring about the process of evolution. This may occur in one or more of the following ways. Firstly, by selective mating, in which a single gene type proves superior in transmitting its genes to future generations.
Now, what is the big deal about that? It's that these were a part of controversial ads with Calvin Klein and Brooke Shields, which started when Brooke Shields was 14. This is one of the adverts that was filmed when Brooke was 14. And Brooke has talked a lot about these because these adverts kind of set off a maelstrom in her life in which the media and the public at large started sexualizing her again as a child. And so to see Sydney Sweeney engaging in adverts which are meant to be a head tip to when a child was used in highly sexualized advertising to sell jeans, it's a problem. And we really have to question ourselves, why are these women so willing to engage in media and culture that promotes moments like this, that recalls moments like this for the bag?
Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
Oh, Sydney Sweeney, here we go again, setting back woman 20 to 40 years. What is going on with you, Sydney Sweeney? Please explain to me why you, a successful actress who was literally on one of the most famous TV shows of all time, Euphoria, feel the need to stoop to this level and do this. First of all, I'm going to call out American Eagle. American Eagle, you sell jeans to teenage girls. And you also sell jeans to preteen girls. Go into the American Eagle store, tell me you don't see a bunch of preteens walking around. Why do you need to sexualize jeans so much, okay? That's the first thing. Second of all, there was a time in history where people who didn't have good genes, aka blonde hair and blue eyes and fair skin, were persecuted. Hello, the Holocaust, a genocide. So you're telling me that this ad thinks it's appropriate to say that, to put a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fair-skinned woman in an ad and say she has good genes. It literally is giving the same, I don't know if I can say this, but it's literally giving Nazi propaganda, to be honest. I truly cannot fathom why Sydney Sweeney agreed to do this ad. That's the first thing. Okay, that's the first issue. I don't know why she agreed to do this ad, considering how successful she is. The argument cannot be made of, oh, she really just needed that check. No, she's so successful. She's one of the most successful female actresses during our time right now, okay? Second of all, read the room. Read what's going on in society. Read the fact that racism is really at an all-time high right now and minorities are not feeling safe. And you think that this is the time to talk about essentially white genetics being the supreme genetic, or genetics that are typically displayed in Caucasian people being good genes, okay? It's the other layer that I need to address here that's problematic is the fact that after this ad, American Eagle stock skyrocketed, okay? Mm-hmm. You would think it would go down. No, it skyrocketed. Further showing just how much our society has regressed. Because you cannot tell me that if this ad had aired 5 years ago, the stock would have skyrocketed. I think people would have gone crazy. I think people would have been like, what is going on? But I mean, here we are. I don't know. I'm honestly done with Sydney Sweeney. I cannot take this anymore. Like, girl, please stop. Please stop. The fact that she got criticized for doing the bathwater ad, and it's just been bathwater ad, and then this, like, Girl, come on now. Come on. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Bye, I love you.
So obviously this is rage bait, but here's what nobody's really talking about. This campaign is poking at women's greatest and most tender insecurity under the patriarchy, which is desirability and the beauty standard. It affects not only non-white women, even though this is clearly white supremacist, Aryan race propaganda, but it also adversely affects the majority of white women who do not naturally have blonde hair and blue eyes. Because yes, even the women who can achieve this look have to do it through artificial means in one way or another. The vast majority of white women are not naturally blonde. It's a very, very, very small percentage who go on to be naturally blonde in adulthood. Sydney Sweeney herself is not even a natural blonde. And of course, lots of white women are also insecure about having brown eyes. So that's a whole generation of young white women who are being further propagandized to purchase blonde hair dye and contacts for the rest of all time. Another thing about the Sydney Sweeney beauty standard that is very important to note is that big boobs are a hallmark of what conservative men are attracted to. At the end of the early 2000s and through the 2010s, we were becoming a more progressive society, and so we also naturally progressed to be a more ass-centric society. Women of color are more likely to have a naturally fat ass. These things intersect. Imagine that. This campaign using Sydney Sweeney in this way is pushing women to pander to conservative men and their fantasies. And before I go any further, I also think it's important to note, and I can second this based on my own personal life experience, that a lot of conservative men just want to show the world that this is their type. But like the Madonna whore complex, they're actually likely to also be interested in women of color, black women, trans women, and then just hold a woman like Sydney Sweeney up on their arm to show to the world that they are adhering to the white supremacist, patriarchal, capitalistic beauty standards. Because men, and especially conservative men, are male-centered too. And unfortunately, a lot of times the woman on their arm is a lot more about keeping up appearances than it is about what they genuinely desire. But anyway, the messaging for women is that you need to be desirable. This is what desirability looks like. You want to be desirable for men. You know what type of man is into this? Conservative men. That leads women to be conservative women. The birth rate has crashed and is burning. They want women back in the houses, back in the kitchens, popping out babies like there's no tomorrow. And you know what guy is most likely to believe in that specific American vision as well? The same type of guy who wants to have this type of woman on his arm in public. It is a trap. Classic propaganda tactic. It's a whole lot of subliminal messaging packed up in this campaign that will affect the brains of women who are either too young and naive to understand this, or just not the sharpest tool in the shed. Sure, it'll hurt the self-esteem of women of color, but this is actually most dangerous for white women. Because again, most white women do not naturally look like this. Even Sydney Sweeney does not naturally look like this. She has to buy a bottle of blonde hair dye every single month. It keeps women on a perpetual hamster wheel of chasing desirability for no one other than men. And who does it serve? The elite's pockets. It's a capitalistic scheme. That's what I mean when I say that capitalism and patriarchy are cults. They tell you how to live your life as though this is the only right way. And oftentimes it's done by a lot of brainwashing and subliminal messaging, and it's in fucking everything. To the untrained eye, the unintelligent eye, this looks like a normal ass campaign where they're just saying Sydney Sweeney is hot. But if you think deeper, if you have critical thinking skills, this is Nazi propaganda. The only way to actually win the capitalism patriarchy game as a woman is to stop finding and putting your value in how well you meet their white supremacist beauty standards and in how horny you make men. Because one day, Sydney Sweeney's gonna be a little too old for their liking, and they're just gonna dump her for the next young blonde, blue-eyed bombshell. And the cycle will continue unless we choose to get smarter and stop absorbing the messaging.
How is American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney's recent ad about good jeans any different from how other major retailers have utilized puns about good jeans with a J in their advertising? I did a deep dive into some historical advertising archives to break down the differences. Before we delve into the historical archives and really get into our analysis, let's just briefly break down what the American Eagle controversy is in general. Basically, if you haven't seen the ad, it starts off with Sydney Sweeney has great jeans with a G, Sydney walks over, crosses that out, and puts jeans with a J. So the entire pun of the ad is that Sydney Sweeney has great genes as in genetics, and American Eagle has great genes as in jeans. Now, the issue is that the ad is getting a lot of flack for being eugenics propaganda because of how American Eagle utilizes great genes with the G, and basically feeds into this idea of there being good genes and bad genes, which is a very eugenics premise. So let's get into the historical archives to see is this just common? Is American Eagle unnecessarily getting flack for this? And have other major retailers who've done similar advertisements done the same thing? The first ad that we're pulling from the archives is the one that allegedly inspired the American Eagle ad in the first place. It's this 1980s Calvin Klein advertisement featuring Brooke Shields, in which Brooke Shields, who's 14 at the time, is explaining to viewers what she has been learning in her recent science classes about genetics. Now in the ad, Brooke breaks down 3 main ways that a gene can undergo mutation. Number 1 being selective mating, number 2 being genetic drift, and number 3 being natural selection. Now the natural selection part is really what has to do with Calvin Klein and where the main punch of the ad comes in. And basically, she says, and I quote, "Some genes are better equipped than others to survive in the environment, and it may result in the origin of an entirely new species at times. That brings us to Calvin and survival of the fittest," basically in which Calvin Klein is saying that their genes are the fittest of all of the other genes. Now, comparing the Calvin Klein and American Eagle ad, it's important and critical to know that even though genetics are explicitly talked about at length in the Calvin Klein ad, it's not done in the same way as the American Eagle ad, because whereas the American Eagle ad explicitly says Sydney Sweeney has great genes with a G, this ad talks about genetics, but it doesn't say that Brooke Shields has great genes. It doesn't imply anything about the audience having good or bad genes. It doesn't really make a comment or really apply a positive or negative tilt to the genes being discussed. It just is talking about different ways of genetic mutation. And then the final punchline is notably centered on Calvin Klein having the fittest genes with a J. At that point, we've moved on from talking about genes with a G. The next ad that we're pulling from the archives is this Tommy Hilfiger and Aaliyah collab from the 90s. Now, similarly to the Brooke Shields ad, genetics are a topic in this advertisement, but it's notably different how it's done. Aaliyah starts off by basically talking about where she gets different traits from. And then the punchline of the ad is, "And Tommy's not my dad, but I have Tommy's genes," because she literally has on Tommy Hilfiger jeans. So as we can see, this is, again, notably different from the American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney ad, because nowhere in this entire advertisement does anybody talk about good genes, bad genes. She didn't even say if Tommy's genes are good or bad. She just says she has on Tommy's jeans. And the last ad I'm going to point out is this one from Old Navy featuring Precious Lee, in which the caption is, "Precious Lee has good genes with a J." No mention is made to jeans with a G here at all. Now, as I continued to delve back in the gene advertising archives, going as far back as I could, I quickly realized that majority of the advertisements could be sorted into basically one of the 3 variations that we just talked about. It was either a Calvin Klein style ad where it starts off with a genetic lesson that ends with some kind of pun about their genes being the fittest, genes with the J being the fittest, or it's a Tommy Hilfiger style where the person starts off talking about all their different traits and then ends off with a comment about how they got their jeans like that they're wearing from that brand. Or it's an Old Navy Precious Lee style where basically they just say we have good genes with a J and don't actually explicitly say anything about genes or genetics at all. And therein lies the difference between the American Eagle ad and all these other gene advertisements as they've been done historically. Whereas the other ads make it very explicit that their punchline is genes with a J, the American Eagle ad actually has a dual punchline, that being Sydney Sweeney has great genes with a G and we have great genes with a J. That is where the eugenics controversy comes in. Now, I won't delve too deep into my historical soapbox about eugenics and all the things to do with that because I am a history PhD student who likes archives too much, and because my research interests are around eugenics and race construction and race conception in America, I could really talk for ages about that. But what I will say is that eugenics propaganda does typically focus a lot on this idea of who has good genes and who has bad genes. And whereas the other gene advertisement that we've talked about didn't do that, the American Eagle ad did. And that, in combination with the current socio-political climate we're in and the fact that there has been a sharp uptick in eugenics thought and the fact that there's also been a sharp presentation of supremacy among other things, is exactly why this advertisement in this current climate is rightly getting controversy. Because it's one thing to talk about good genes with a J in advertising, but it's a whole other thing to say someone has great genes with a G.
Please let me know what you think about this conversation, this ad about American Eagle. What are your thoughts about it? Have you seen the ad? Did you see anything wrong with the ad? Go down in the comment section and share your thought. But please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free to share your thoughts. So yeah, clearly, like, I love the creator. I like the way the takes of everybody almost seems like different but very, very educational. I love it. And but clearly it's been, I remember seeing the ad for the first time and I chuckled at, oh, Sydney Sweeney had great ass. Not me laughing at another woman, don't get me wrong, great jeans and all that. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't just make sense. But I do understand the propaganda that is being pushed, and I feel like it's something that has gone on for a long time, where the beauty standard has been sold and embedded in us subconsciously, that has made some people, especially dark-skinned black women, to feel a certain way about what they have. And then you see white women who are supposed to be the beauty standard going out there, those things that's supposed to are not part of the beauty standard becomes the thing that they do, and then it's being celebrated like, oh, she has big ass, oh, she has fuller lips, oh, she's tan and all that. And for me, I feel like it's still the propaganda of the European beauty standard that they're still pushing down there, because I feel like eventually people are beginning to really psych themselves out of it, and people are unlearning. I'm thankful for the internet. We're having a conversation every single day, and also we're boosting each other's up in terms of confidence and in knowledge, that we're knowing that, you know what, I'm beautiful, like no matter how I look, whether I come with my big eyes, big nose and dark skin, I am beautiful. And I feel like they still want to bring that white supremacy ideology back. And clearly, yes, we all know that American ego is white, is into the make American great again this thing. But the fact that this is something that has played out for years, and now they are literally playing it up in our face in 2025, for me, it just like, okay, I get it. And the crazy thing also that does not make sense to me, and this is why, like, when I talk about racism and I talk about the struggle of being a black woman and even being the beauty standard, sometimes people say, oh, why do you always have to play the black card? This is it. A brand clearly is clearly propaganding the beauty standard, the white beauty standard, the white supremacy, the patriotic system, and the stock of that brand that has been dipping decide go up. So who are the people supporting it? You see what I'm talking about? Who are the people supporting? Who are the people making the stock of that brand up? So as much as we want to talk and everybody wants to watch their hands of being racist, or of, oh, I love black people, or, oh, dark skin is beautiful, the truth is that out there in the real world, there's a lot of people still believe in the European century beauty standard, and a lot of people are low-key feel some type of way about black people. And I will call it racism, because if you are feeling some type of way because of the color of the skin that somebody is, then you're racist. Whether it's been subtle or deep or rooted, you are being racist. I remember somebody said to me that, oh, I've never been with, I've never eaten a black meat before. And I'm like, okay, why are we having this kind of conversation? The fact that you think that because I'm a black woman, I'm different from a white woman because of my black skin, in terms of my anatomy, then something is wrong with you. You're a racist. And the truth is that there is a lot of people that feel this way. There's a lot of people that go with the Eurocentric beauty standard and still go ahead to sexualize dark skinned black women. And you could clearly see in this advert all the so-called features that they were saying, oh, good genes, genes, is all for the Eurocentric, white, blonde, skinny, no butt, white woman. And the truth is that if you know a black woman, we are not built that way. We are not lean that way. We can be skinny, but not lean that way. So it's just really interesting how this is so deeper than what we can see. For me, I totally believe in the propaganda of they trying to push a particular standard, and they know exactly what they were doing when they were going for that ad. But another thing is the fact that what's her name, Sweeney, okay, decided to go with it. And that's the thing, like, if you want to bring a woman down, or if you want to bring women down, you use a woman. And the truth is that there's still going to be women that's going to uphold the white supremacy, the patriotic system that is out there. And there's so much we can do about it. The fact that she saw the script of this ad and still decided to go, making it feel like, oh, there are some superior genes out there. Yeah, okay, if everybody thinks that way, then I think black women are the superior gene. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, yeah, you guys let me know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section, and please keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this career. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.